It is holiday time, which means I have a big stack of envelopes with Christmas cards that need to go out. So I went to the post office and got some interesting stamp designs, like this one of wild and scenic rivers. That's pretty cool. 12 different rivers in America. That's pretty neat. And then we also have Hot Wheels. This actually came out last year, since last year was the Hot Wheels 50th anniversary, but you can still find them in the post office. But then I went to a flea market and found this. Now what this is, I've done videos in the past of you can buy stamps that are unused, that are vintage, for less than face value. And everything that we've got over here, pretty old, 8 cents, 6 cents, 3 cents, things like that. These were all face value, but then the dealer also had this side. These are also brand new stamps that are missing the gum on the back. So these were sold for half price. And the guy just said, go to the dollar store, get yourself a glue stick, and then you can glue these onto your envelope. So let's take a look at what I picked up. Unlike previous mixes of stamps that I've bought off of eBay where I didn't know what I was getting, these they had just a big box of new stamps, and I got to pick out what I thought was interesting. So we're going to start off with the Boston Tea Party, and I like how the 4 stamps there come together to make a one picture. Next we have horse racing, and I'm probably going to send that one to my mother-in-law because she likes horse racing. We've got, for you literature buffs, we have Tom Sawyer. We've got the Utah Centennial. So these 3-cent stamps are dated 1947. Another one that I think would be popular is Walt Disney. So that one's probably 50 years old. Next we've got something that you're probably not going to see to get today, Apollo 8, but since it has a Bible verse on it, in the beginning, God. And so you're probably not going to see the U.S. Post Office have anything religious like that today. Next we have John Trumbull, an American artist. Not quite sure who that is, but I think that's kind of interesting for history. Next we've got Arkansas River navigation. My brother lived not far from the Arkansas River there many years ago. Next we have wildlife conservation. We've got pelican, seal, cardinal, and a bighorn sheep. Next up we've got President Harry Truman. Here's one that I liked, professional baseball. And I think it's interesting that this year baseball celebrated their 150th anniversary. Well, this was 50 years ago, and they celebrated their centennial in 1969. Next up for history lovers, we have General Douglas MacArthur. Not sure what's going on here. Communications for Peace. Perhaps that is, well, I don't know what Echo 1 is. Maybe that was something, well, they say it's for peace. Maybe it's part of the war effort, hoping that that would cause peace. Next we have the centennial of the American Institute of Architects. And then if you like space things, we have, oh, that one's upside down. We've got Project Mercury, U.S. Man in Space. Next up, for if you like using phones, well, here is Alexander Graham Bell. Here we have the, something stuck on that one, but we've got the group of 4 Rough Riders. I guess that's Teddy Roosevelt. Here, and more for book lovers, we have Margaret Mitchell. We have Rise. Let's scoot back a little bit. Okay. Rise of the Spirit of Independence. Next up, we have the 50th anniversary of the Devil's Tower National Monument. Every time I see that, I think of Close Encounters movie. Here we're going to have Ralph Waldo Emerson for more literature there. Railroad Mail Car. That one's not as exciting. I'm kind of wondering why I picked that one up. Then, looking at another state, we've got the Colorado 75th anniversary of statehood, which happened in 1951. And then this last one here is, I guess that is Benjamin Franklin, signer of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, U.S. Minister to France, Benjamin Franklin. So that is everything for the side that had the gum on it. That's kind of brownish, kind of reflects in the light here. So these are the ones that just have to go old school and lick them and put them on an envelope. Let's look at the other half. Now on the other half, here we have, take a look here at Abraham Lincoln 4-cent stamp. So again, that's going to be quite old. Fort Sumter, Civil War Centennial. We're looking at 1961 on that. I believe that is the Civil War fort near Baltimore, and my nephew is a history teacher outside of Baltimore, so maybe he's going to get that one. Indiana Sesquicentennial in 1966. Hey, there are some more Lincoln stamps I just found in the stack. So let's see, New Mexico statehood. That's going to be 1962. So they had been in the state for 50 years. Now we have someone who's not American on a stamp. We have Copernicus, so celebrating 500 years of, in 1973, 500 years of Copernicus. Here's another president. That one's got a glare, but here we have Lyndon Johnson. Now this one I thought was interesting because it is celebrates the Mexican independence sesquicentennial of 1960. Joint issue Mexico and United States. So it's 4 cents of U.S. postage, and I suppose that means that Mexico had their own similar looking stamp that they came out with the same year. Here we're going to have petroleum industry, dated 1959. More for the space lovers, the Apollo-Soyuz space test project, 1975. We've got a 10-cent stamp there. And while we're at it, here is the first man on the moon. The funny thing is, I picked this one up like a week before the first man landed on the moon, and I didn't even realize it was the date coming up. So just happened to get that at the at a time that would have been really popular, and I didn't even know about it. Next up, we're going to have President Eisenhower. Thought this one was really neat. Architecture of the USA. We've got 4 different buildings being shown here. Richard Morris Hunt, Biltmore, Asheville, North Carolina. Next we have Sanford White in the NYU, the Library of New York. Louis Sullivan in the Bank of Owatonna, Minnesota, I guess. And Bernard Maybeck at the Palace of Arts of San Francisco. And all of those 18-cent stamps. Next up, someone else who was not an American to appear on a U.S. stamp. We have Shakespeare, and celebrating, let's see, 1564 to 1964. So celebrating the 400th year of Shakespeare. So put this one up here. We have different kinds of hot air balloons, and I'm going to bet the Intrepid there on the left is the oldest one, 1861. On the right we have Explorer 2, 1935, and the two in the middle are just generic hot air balloons, but still pretty neat for the people that like hot air balloons. And let's see, we're going to finish off with Sam Houston. Now, he is probably most regarded for his time in the Republic of Texas, but before that, he was the governor of Tennessee. And there are several Sam Houston historic sites around Tennessee, and so I think that's kind of an interesting find. Next up, for those of you who like trains, we have 200 years of the Postal Service, and we've got down below we've got a steam train, and up top we've got more of a modern train. Let's come over here for Marquette as an explorer, and then looks like our last stamp is going to be Labor Day, 3 cents. Labor is life is the quote on that, with Carlisle. I'm not familiar with who that is, but so here we go. These are all brand new stamps, half price. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks.